Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Today, Mr. Dupont, the CEO of Jaffer Agro Services Private Limited, is with us. So, taking this opportunity when he came to Lahore after a long time of the pandemic, so I want to, grab this opportunity to get his views about Pakistan and about himself. Why he's Pakistan, how long he spent, he's probably traveled in Pakistan more than any of us, and he knows Pakistan areas where probably we have not visited before. So he spent around 30 years in this region. So we would like to hear from him. He's the agriculture expert. He knows agriculture inside out. Like to know when did you came to Pakistan first, and what was your first assignment?
I came in Pakistan first time in the year when Mr. your General Ziaulak died. That was 1988.
88. Okay.
And I stayed there here for 6 years, came back to France and to Europe, and ultimately came back in the region in 2000.
I see.
Well, that is
Yeah.
story of my life. We are living, and the future will be the same, where the only thing we cannot change is that the change is there. So, I've been through a lot of change in structure, been through a lot of change in my life, and Pakistan is a very interesting part because it's a very dynamic country with a lot of change.
Okay, so it was by choice or it was by the company who sent you here?
I believe in one thing: you have always a choice in your life.
Okay.
So, if you do something because you are told to do so, you are not taking ownership of your life. So, by definition, it's my choice.
Maybe it is because you married a Pakistani woman. What was the time frame you married?
We married basically in 91.
91. Okay. So before you going back to France, the first time when you came here, at that time you married. Okay.
Yes, first time I came
So
here.
this could be the one attraction maybe which brought you back, or
No, I must say, I've been working in business related to agriculture for more than 35 years. And I always found agriculture interesting. But there is one part which is very interesting in this part of the world, is that the center of gravity of the world is Asia.
okay.
And if you look at agriculture in Asia, you find agriculture in Europe boring. You make only one crop per year.
Okay.
We are in country, we are making 2 crops, sometimes 3 crops per year. There is always something happening. And when I came back, the opportunity was really to look at all Asia, starting from Pakistan up to Taiwan.
So here you can do more. You have satisfy your passion for that. I think you have more seasons working here. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So basically, it's not only women who, it's the point of attraction. Basically,
Well,
your
let's put it
passion
that
for the
way.
agriculture is bringing you here.
Let's be fair. Sometimes in your life you work very hard,
Mhm.
and you don't always have enough time to take care of your family. And you need somebody who is able to follow you in that.
But what do you think is the change, working with multinationals and you are the boss of the whole region and then joining a You know, the local Pakistani company.
Yeah, but let's put it that way. The major interest for me in a multinational is opening to the world.
Okay.
Okay? The major negative point of a multinational is that the ownership, who is the owner, is completely diluted.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who is ultimately the shareholder. It's thousands of shareholders. So it's something which has become, with the passage of time, like a private administration. With the difference that if you work for state administration, the safety of the job is relatively there. But in this private administration, you still have the game of administrator playing a role, but the safety of the job is not there anymore.
Okay.
And that is resulting in the fact that sometimes, whether it is on operational level or strategic level, decisions are taken which are not necessarily the best decisions at the professional level. And we came to a point where basically I had a big gap in terms of vision of the strategy for this company, where I thought, no, this is not the right strategy, it cannot work like that. Now, working for a local company, Pakistan economy is unstable, but by definition it is growing. You take factors like the increase of the population, the age of the population, the need to structure this country. There is by definition a lot of things. When I came in Pakistan 30 years ago, I remember one day I was traveling from Multan to Lahore. There was a lot of fog. It took us something like 12 hours to reach Lahore because we could hardly see the road beyond the bonnet of the car. Today, if I want to travel from Multan to Lahore, I take a motorway and I'm there in less than 3 hours.
Yeah. Infrastructure definitely improved. Yeah.
But not only infrastructure, I mean, if you see the cost of land, the cost of real estate in Pakistan, all the wealth of Pakistan is not in the books.
Okay.
And definitely the wealth of the country has been increasing.
Yeah.
So it's a country with a strong dynamic. So a local company, basically in this environment, it's in danger if it is focusing only on one type of market.
Mm-hmm.
In Jaffer, basically, we know the structure of the capital, we know who are the shareholder, we can see if, in terms of value and vision, we are in phase.
Mm-hmm.
But the big positive point of a company like Jaffer, and it's not the only one in Pakistan, is that we are very diversified. So we are touching different markets, we are touching different type of customer, we are touching different kind of product. When one part of the tripod is becoming weak, maybe the two other parts of the tripod are strong at the same time.
Okay, what in your opinion?
What we should do? It's a very, very wide question.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it into three categories. One are of structural nature or societal nature, some are of technical nature, and some about how to tackle the future. So if I talk of the structural nature, which are basically society related, basically one issue is the role of the state. First of all, the role of the state has become very complicated after the 18th Amendment. So we don't know who is doing what between the federal and the provinces,
Mm-hmm.
where some issues are by definition to be dealt at the federal level, whether it is registration of product, whether it is stabilization of the market. You cannot do that only at the provincial level. Who is getting the water when?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the second thing is that Pakistan has really the problem. Government must give a subsidy. Well, subsidy is a bit like heroin. You take a shot, you feel good, but ultimately it destroys your body.
Right.
The second problem of Pakistan is the value chain in agriculture. The farmer is at the lower edge of the value added. And there is not a system where he can say, I'm going to produce better quality and we get money for that. So the Pakistani farmer is really dependent on the third man in between or the market vagaries, which are affected also by subsidies. All of a sudden we want to export wheat or we want to export sugar and then we want to import wheat and sugar, which are affecting the market. And one very important factor in Pakistan after the land reform has been the cost of land. Today, professional farmers in Pakistan work on lease because they didn't have the asset when they were born, they are a small farm, and they become good professionals, but they need to lease land. The cost at which you have to lease the land is most of the time twice or three times more than the net profit they can get for their crop. So if you are not a landowner, to have a net income is very difficult, and what it is that your ability to develop into technology, for example, to develop into mechanization, your capacity of capital formation is not sufficient. And then we enter in this circle where do we go tomorrow? The chance for the Pakistan agriculture has been that Pakistan is a country of meat eater.
Okay, very interesting.
And today, the value production in animal production in Pakistan is more than the value production of product from the land. And that has been very, very important because even for the small farmer, he has a few goats, he has a few chicken. In bad time, he can still sell a part of his animal to get money into the kitty. Without that, Pakistan agriculture would have collapsed many years ago.
Okay. So farmer is surviving because of this.
I would not say surviving because of that, but it does not depend only on the vegetable production. It also has second income coming from the animal production, and that gives him a security in when the things are turning bad. Take for example, since today, after all this heavy rain in the last few days, some flood are completely destroyed some of the crop. But if they have a few cows, they have a few goats, they can still sell them and get some income to recover. The kitty of the farmer is not the bank for the small farmer. His kitty is in the animal that is developing.
Okay, but I think that sector is also not organized in that manner like other international. We have seen the dairy sector how it's growing. In Pakistan, there are no few farms, but I think
Yeah, but Pakistan
the value chain
agriculture.
is missing, the traceability factor, and other
Yeah,
factors.
that is valid for the whole agriculture. That's what I tell you. The value chain structure is not there. At the same time, it is a labor-intensive agriculture. It's not a capital-intensive agriculture. The system we are talking about are big integration. They are very capital-intensive. But Pakistan, you take Europe, you take the US, people working in agriculture is less than 3% of the population. What would happen in Pakistan if all of a sudden 60% of the people depending on agriculture go to the city? Where they will find a job? So the transition from a labor-intensive to a capital-intensive economy cannot happen over time.
Mhm.
The second issue of technical nature, basically, Pakistan is a country where agriculture is done, where it is done, because a big part of the country is not ready for agriculture. It's mountain, it's desert. So the part where agriculture is done, basically, is a land which was, in the previous glaciation period, underwater.
Okay.
If you go from Karachi to Lahore, the difference of height is not even 300 meters. So basically, Pakistan used to be in the sea. And the result of that is that your soil have a very high pH, which is not favorable for agriculture pollution, lot of salt, and no organic matter.
I see.
So the capacity of the plant to extract, for example, nutrients is blocked by the salt, is blocked by the calcium, and the efficiency of your fertilizer is not good enough. Okay. The second issue that you have is water use. Things go on because of the development of the canal system. Pakistan agriculture is not so much dependent on the rain. You see India, last 2 years, very good monsoon, very good crop. Pakistan is not depending on the rain. Pakistan is depending on the water canal system. And the way we use the canal system is that we are flooding. Now, when we flood, a lot of water is going down, there is a lot of seepage, and it does not improve at all the structure of the soil. It further deteriorates the soil. Okay? And the third factor is your crop rotation. You are not making one crop per year. You are making 2 crops, you are making 3 crops. So the demand of the soil is huge. And that's why you see, for example, the use of fertilizer in Pakistan is very, very big, not always very economical. So if you talk about future in Pakistan, what you need, point number 1, is education.
Okay.
Because if you want to develop technology, if you want to go to a more capital intensive, you need a much higher level of education that you have today.
You mean we have to build more universities for the...
No, you don't need to build university. There is a big gap in the education system in Pakistan in agriculture. There is no level of education for the basic work. There is no vocational training system for agriculture in Pakistan. So you have university, you have very bright people in your university. But the bright people in the university don't necessarily want to work in the field and work hard with 35 degree, 40 degree.
So basically you are suggesting that we need to have more vocational
Absolutely.
Training.
Absolutely.
That is missing.
Completely missing.
Okay.
It's the biggest gap.
I see. So in your opinion, this is your final message basically to the...
Well, yes, I would say to government, stop thinking about subsidy, put the money into your education system.
Okay.
And support the integration of the value chain. Okay. For example, when I see country where I come from, France, the market is organized by cooperative. And the cooperative are integrating everything from the technical advisory service, the logistic, the warehousing, the transformation. I have some wheat cooperative which are holding a chain of bakeries.
Okay.
So they collect the wheat, they make the flour, they make the cake, and they sell it. They integrate completely the value chain. And that is changing the paradigm of agriculture.
So this is your message for the government, for the education and for the value chain.
And support the integration of the value chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, final, I would like to give a message to the business community and the youngsters coming into this field. So
the change will not stop. The change is a permanent factor. And people use very often the expression think out of the box. What does that mean? Well, to think out of the box, the first thing you need is don't stay in your box. Quit your box. Quit your system of reference. Go completely out of it. Be exposed to something else. Only there you will be able to think out of the box. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't stay where you are. Move. Okay? And my second advice is don't let the money drive your life. If every day you go to the work and say, oh shit, I'm going to have a bad day, you will never be happy. Yes, of course, you need to work, you need to get money to work, but you need to do something which is fit with your internal compass. What is it which makes you happy in life? People use big words like passion and so on. My point is, when I go to the work every morning, am I happy to go to the work? Or is it a pain for me to go to the work? If I keep on working at my age, it's not because of financial factor. It's because I still like to do what I do. And I wake up to come to Lahore. I'm happy because I'm going to go to the field, I'm going to meet the farmer, I'm going to meet my people, I'm going to see how the crop is moving, and that makes me happy. So if you want to be happy in life, don't work for money. Work for what you like to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your message for the youngsters, for the professionals, and thank you for your time. We bothered you in the morning, early morning.
No issue.
We
No
had
issue.
you here.
The sun is
While
shining,
you
we're
are
going
still-
to go to the field now.
Okay, good luck. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be with us.